What's up? This is RJ.
This is Joe.
This is Lzzy.
This is Josh, and we are
Halestorm.
And you're on BackstageAxxess.com.
Where the real show begins, dude.
Jump into the fire, diving headfirst into the flames. We're broken and tired, but giving in.
Hey, Lzzy and Joe, how you doing today?
Hey, good. How you doing, guys?
Good, good. You guys got to be excited with the new record coming out in a couple days?
Oh, yeah, man. We can't wait. How's Buffalo?
Buffalo's doing very well. We're waiting for your arrival in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
This record, Vicious, has a lot of heaviness to it. I want to know if the band decided to take a different approach to the making of this record, or was it an organic process?
Man, I'd say it was both.
Yeah.
The process was organic for sure. Nick Masculinix, our producer, kind of just sat us in a room, said, all right, for you.
Plug in your stuff,
Plug in your
you know,
stuff.
turn it up.
And he said the famous first word, who's got the riff?
Yeah,
And that's where it began. And we just started writing music. He kind of became our fifth band member. And, you know, we were just jamming, and he'd pop in every once in a while. That was cool. Do that again. Like, all right, Captain, you got it. And, yeah, we're just chasing what excited us.
Yeah.
You know, that was the goal.
As far as it being heavy, I don't think we realized how heavy of a record that we made it into until we started playing some of these songs out live against our other catalog. I remember, like, the first, you know, show that I think we added in Black Vultures, and I turned to the guys, I'm like, I think we wrote a heavy record, guys. I mean, like Joe said, we were just kind of chasing whatever got us excited, and we were getting excited over that stuff. And so it's really interesting to now look at the record in its entirety after it's all done and be like, all right, I guess we had to get that out. So.
Awesome. I have to ask Lzzy, the title track Vicious, is it reflective of your own struggles of being a woman in the music industry?
It certainly could be. You know, I write everything from a personal point of view. You know, the broader. It's only until after it's kind of been in the hands of everybody else that it becomes this kind of broader message, I think. But you know, for me personally, I wrote this particular song at the 11th hour of this record being done. You know, we kind of had everything finished, and then Joe and I went out to LA to just kind of, you know, settle in and just kind of write for fun. And I remember the two of us being up at like 4 a.m, just writing just gibberish with this idea because we loved the word vicious. And in my mind, that's when the kind of album came together for me, because with this record, that's just the journey, you know, message-wise that I had been touching on. What I realized is that it's so much more, whether you're talking about being a woman in the industry, whether you're talking about being a woman in general, whether you're just talking about being a human being, you know, just struggling with their place in the world, you know, you know, all the different stages that go along with that. It's just so much more in life right now than just being strong and weathering the storm. You know, you kind of have to come at life with a little bit of teeth and be fierce about it, you know, be bold and forceful and you know, force yourself into these situations that maybe make you uncomfortable, maybe make other people uncomfortable, but you know, ultimately you have to kind of be vicious about it. And so that was for me, taking that word vicious and, you know, spinning it with that positivity, as in like, yeah, all right, it's about survival and not just being strong. So yeah, at that point we're like, I remember Joe and I like texting the other guys, be like, I think that we have to call the album Vicious, because up until that point we had a bunch of other ideas that weren't really clicking, and like, I think vicious is the right word for this, and everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. So it's when that happened.
I have a same question to both, and I want to get their opinion on each. What track was the most fun creating, and which one was the most difficult?
Ooh, well, probably agree on some of these.
I know we're going to agree on most. The most difficult was Conflicted, because it was just a tough song. It was a bear.
Let's address that one first, I guess. So Conflicted is the only song on the album that came from just an outside source. We went and we were showing some songs to our A&R guy, and went up to visit him in New York, and he's like, hey man, I have this idea that's from these three kids, and it's called Conflicted, and they kind of have a chorus and kind of a half verse, but they haven't really finished the song yet. Would you like to finish it? And so, of course, we're in like super writing mode. We're like, sure, man, like that'd be awesome. We'll try anything. It was a cool word, and so we ended up, writing this song and rewriting it. I think about like 9 times. There's like lots of different drafts and different ways to do it, because our first version of it ended up being like just this hard rock. We're just going to be balls to the wall, and it didn't really work with lyrically how I was kind of wrapping up the song. So we ended up, I think, didn't we end up doing the final version right before we mastered the record? Like we did, like
it was like last minute. It was kind of like, oh my god, are we done with this yet?
We got to the point at the end of it where it's like, should we even put it on the record? This is silly. But we ended up doing it anyway, and what it is what it is. But that was the most difficult nut to crack. And like I said, I think it was just kind of because it didn't start out with the nucleus of us, so it was kind of hard to kind of figure out how to make it work on the record. So anyway, but the most enjoyable one, I mean, that was a lot of them, but let's see.
What's your opinion? What was most enjoyable for you?
Most enjoyable for me? Do Not Disturb was a fun one. As far as performance-wise, and making that work into that kind of sludgy. I love that slow groove. Also, I feel bad. I made our producer a slightly uncomfortable with the lyrics. Poor guy. He's like, "All right, I think we got it. We don't have to do it ever again now." Okay. So that was a lot of fun to do. Skulls was great musically. That was an awesome.
You only get one, Lzzy.
Oh, I only get one? Okay,
yeah.
Then I'll pick that one. Go ahead. Pick something else.
Okay. I had fun with Killing Ourselves to Live. Lzzy and I had that chorus for a few years. We kind of thought it was always a ballad, and I remember we were always trying to write it on piano or acoustic, and it was just always kind of, I was bored fast. And I was like, man, I know it's a good chorus, but what do you do with it? And I remember getting all annoyed one night about the song, and I was like, fuck it, let's just make it a rock song, and kind of sang out a few riffs into my phone, like singing the chorus and into these riff things. And I think we were on tour last October, and I had my little demo rig out with me, and I just took the riffs I sang into my phone and kind of made them guitar parts, and made that most of that journey that you hear happen just on that, just whatever, that someday in Iowa, I think we were, just kind of put it together, and the solo and everything. I was like, wow, that came together easy. All we need now is a few more parts, and it's almost there. So that was a lot of fun. It was nice to hear that chorus turn into something totally unexpected from my perspective.
Cool. Thanks.